Okay. So, hello, everyone.
Who's going to introduce us?
I'll start. This is the first episode of our podcast, Afternoon Tea with Shandy, and I am Sean,
And I'm Andy. You can
aka
probably imagine where the name came from.
Shandy.
Hmm.
Yep, dates back to grad school. That was our work couple name, and we are both licensed psychologists. So grad school, yes, that's where we met and developed our friendship. And so this podcast is something that we've been talking about wanting to do for a long time, and we're finally starting it.
A long time.
I know we talked about our vision for this podcast and what we would like to focus on, and I sort of view it as we are just two very good friends wanting to do a podcast who just happen to be licensed psychologists.
That's true. And that feels important to say because even though we are licensed psychologists, nothing we say on this podcast should be taken as psychological advice, medical treatment, nothing like that. This is for entertainment purposes only. So if what we say is informed by psychology, that might be muddied. I don't know if you'll know.
Yes, I think the goal is that this is for to be entertaining, and hopefully you all will enjoy it and laugh with us, and maybe secondarily walk away with some knowledge that we can impart based on our profession. But in no way is this a educational podcast by any means. We we will be talking about TV shows and
And things that we don't know what we're talking about, probably.
yes.
We should put, so it's funny because we have wanted to do something together for a long time, a podcast. And even though we're both psychologists from the same graduate school and the same program, we actually have very few overlapping interests. It's been really tough for us to find something that was that we could both work on because we just are in totally different sort of uh siloed pieces of psychology, I think.
Yes. Yes. So what we're hoping to cover on this podcast, I mean, maybe a lot of pop culture related topics, but definitely television shows that can include reality television, docu-series. And I'm hoping I'm really pushing for at some point us having a book club part of this podcast at some point. But yes, the first show that we are going to talk about, the first few episodes will be The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Which felt like a perfect entry point for us because I have insider knowledge about Mormon culture, so I feel like I can offer perspective on things that are going to talk around that. And you're a huge fan of reality TV.
I love reality television. I for years and years, big fan. I've consumed many a reality TV show. So,
I think I want to say that I hate reality TV, but I think I hate it in the way that fans of it also hate it. I think there's some interaction there where I'm watching it, I'm disgusted. I choose not to watch where others choose to watch more. I'm not sure what's happening there. So I will try to keep certain criticisms at bay because I really just find reality TV very off-putting sometimes. That might come across. I don't know. I'm trying not to judge. I understand that it is a really popular form of entertainment.
I love it. I love it. Yes. Yeah, so this is how we found a common our merged our common interest or knowledge, and it's this is what it we landed on. Mom
Yeah.
Talk, The Secret
Mom,
Lives of Mormon Wives.
yeah, all starting with the mom talk scandal.
Yes.
Do you want to say anything about like the draw of reality TV? I mean, what is your take on why folks do like reality TV? What would you say to somebody like me who's just like, "Oh, that's garbage."
Well, I guess I'm curious, why do you think it's garbage?
I think it makes me feel bad. And so
Tell
it's
like
easy to sort
tell
of
how.
call it names, but
Like
I
bad
think
how in what way?
well, it really does depend. I remember as a young man watching The Fifth Wheel, which was like reality dating show. where you would have two couples sort of meet up in some case, and then they'd introduce a third, and somebody would basically get picked and left out. And what I really remember from watching that was how bad it made me feel, like about humanity and about entertainment. And it was just like sort of perplexing to me. And so I think that's sort of carried on also. So obviously there's different types of reality TV, but when I see people put in positions where they're going to behave badly, and then they're sort of like given like fame and attention for it. I think there's something about that that I find distasteful. Maybe I'm jealous. Maybe I wish I was on television and I'm just like having a hard time watching other people succeed where I never got to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's I mean, your points are very fair and I think shared by many. Yes, I was thinking of I've never heard of that show, the one that you just mentioned.
Oh, the fifth wheel? Oh,
Yeah.
well, it's garbage.
But I did make me think back to when I was in, what was this, like, eighth grade, ninth grade? I'd come home after school with my best friend and we would eat a bowl of ice cream and watch Room Raiders and Next
Mm.
and Meet My Mom, which is really
Next was another one that was very, right. It was like set up to be very aggressive.
it's really bad. So those shows, yes, because we would joke all the time that uh, if someone looked through our room and or tried to date our mom, no one would ever want to date us ever. So that was what my friend and I would say. But then when I later in high school, that's when Bravo started the Real Housewife franchise. And I
Mm.
seen from the very beginning Real Housewives. But also, so I think there are different tiers or I mean there are definitely different categories of reality television. There's the like gaming show side where so like Survivor. And I think a lot of people that dislike true like reality television where it's just you're supposed to be looking into these people's lives and there's often conflict and they might find that distasteful, but then they like Survivor. Like, are you a
Right.
Survivor?
It's a competition. I haven't, but Amazing Race. My best friend wanted me to be on Amazing Race for years, and we were making audition videos for him and his brother and different things. I never watched it.
Really? That's also, but that's different. It's like a different genre.
Right.
And
Yeah.
people that people are can get on board with that, and then they still might have the same reaction. I don't know. I think I love watching reality TV, and not all reality television shows, but I partially like you get a glimpse into the lives of you people whom you might not encounter normally, and you get to peer into their worlds and a world that probably is far different from the one that you are living in. At least for me, very different from the world that I'm living in. Also, given what we do for work, we spend a significant amount of time talking about really trauma, challenging like experiences that people have and heavy topics and mental health. And so when it comes to television for me, a lot of times I kind of want something I don't have to think
Mm.
much about.
Yes. No, that I really agree with. I stick to a lot of comedy just for that reason. Like my after work television selection is at least comedy.
Yeah.
Well, I think you got a point, and that is interesting to think about how, like, what was the original MTV reality show? Real World.
Real world.
Real
Yeah.
World was the first reality show I think that I knew of where they were really just like watching people behave. And sure, they
Yeah.
put them in an environment, but kind of watching them.
Yeah.
And then you had Jersey Shore, which was a certain, like you were saying, yeah, window into that life. And then the
Mhm.
Real Housewives, which I didn't watch until we decided to watch Real Housewives of Salt Lake City for a similar endeavor, kind of checking out the landscape of reality shows and Mormonism, I guess, crossing
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. In my opinion, the quality of I think Bravo has the best quality reality television show.
Hmm.
That's not obviously a gaming show. I think that's also very different. I think that the quality of like gaming shows it's there. It's really
They're
it's
different comparison.
MT I view, and this is my personal opinion, MTV and VH1 the quality of their shows is it's subpar compared to Bravo. And I think part of it is like storytelling that Bravo does. Someone can say it's all garbage. It's especially Real Housewives, a lot of maybe wealthy, vapid, middle-aged women arguing with each other. But really, Real Housewives, and I know this is not what we're talking about, but Real Housewives, the whole premise of the show is to shine light on, again, middle-aged women who are coming into their own. They are embracing their sexuality. There was really nothing, a lot of reality shows feature that's not a gaming show features young people, like teens, 20s,
Hmm.
maybe early 30s. And there wasn't really anything out there that focused on women in their 40s or 50s and that have families. And a lot of the almost a common theme across the franchise is these women often are married to a man who is successful or has, is the breadwinner, and they're really trying to find their own identity. And uh, some of the end result is leaving maybe their spouse and just kind of, I don't know, self-discovery. And I enjoy it. And yes, they argue about very trivial, ridiculous topics, but I am here for it. So
Well, don't we all?
yes, yes. So, but to answer your question, the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives felt a little bit like on Bravo's kind of level to
Hmm.
me. But maybe somewhere in between, I would say MTV and Bravo.
When you are talking about the quality then of the network, is that budget and production value or direction? Is it the way they frame it, or is it the story of you know what I mean? Like, is MTV making a certain kind of show successfully that you're sort of saying is a low tier, or do they not have a big budget, or what is the quality difference that you're seeing?
That's actually a really good question. I think that when I say quality, maybe that's not fair. Maybe the quality in terms of budget, is equal. But I feel like that feeling that you described, I'm feeling sad. Sometimes the shows on MTV and TLC, not like, the what's the wedding dress say yes to the dress, not necessarily those shows, but a lot of times I think the storylines to me feel a little bit sad. And so maybe when I say quality, it's that might not be the right term. Although I do think the like the imagery and the location and the scenery, and I think that tends to look a lot prettier on Bravo. Just
Mm.
like aesthetically, it just looks, I think but that could also just be a product of a lot of the shows are trying to feature wealth in some degree. There's $1 million listing, which is you focused on uh, real estate agents selling like these, multi-million-dollar homes, and versus like Teen Mom. And so I think that there might be a difference there but I just think it's very pretty. The show again, like aesthetically, like the scenes are lovely a lot of times. The locations where they go, but also I tend to not feel as sad.
Hmm.
And I think that maybe there is something about there's more comfort in, I mean, I hate to say it, like reality television is filled with everyone judges the
Right.
people on the show, and that's not great, but it definitely happens. And I think sometimes maybe there can be more comfort judging people that are wealthy and beautiful versus other individuals where maybe they're struggling more and they're sort of putting that out there um, for people to see. And yes, so for me, my off time, I'd want to see that, not as much the shows that make me feel sad.
Yeah, I do feel like there's a difference when I'm watching something like The Bachelor. I'm watching people who I'm skeptical that they want to find love, but I'm certain they want to find celebrity, right? So like maybe they want to find love and they want to be celebrities, and that's just like part of that whole thing. But I think that yeah, once you enter into the sphere of trying to be a celebrity, you are open to criticism from people who are maybe punching up. And I do want to say, I think even movie stars like A-list celebrities, they are still people and humans. So I think sometimes the criticism can get too free when we're like forgetting that people are people. So
Yes.
I'm going to try to watch that as we watch this a little bit, but yeah, inevitably there's judgment. And they're
Yes.
and they're and they're showing you their lives, right? Like they're expecting you to react. So I
Mhm.
figure I'm only feeding into the business model
Yes.
if I'm judging.
Uh-huh. Yes. So I think we will have a handful of episodes focused on the Mom Talk series. Um, the starting with we're just going to start with episode 1.
Great.